Yeah, we love where we're at. You know, the way the last 70 days has gone has been a whirlwind. It's been a little crazy, but for the first time this week with all the guys arriving, it's the first time you've been able to like take a deep breath, get above the trees, and really start focusing in on what's most important, and that's your team and the players. In my role, obviously, you have to spin tons of plates, and that's part of the deal, but the three most important things always in your program have to be this: your players, and your players. And that's where we're at, and that's the fun part, starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together and build our deal.
What's the different challenge from as long as you've done this to have a completely new team, to make them into a team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's any different. Obviously, it's unique in starting with 0 and building to 13 in a short amount of time, but you know, implementing our culture is a daily process, right? And you know, a big phrase that we use is the power of the unit. So in our cultural blueprints, these three things: relentless effort, competitive excellence, and the power of the unit. And that's the most important one. We say it's based on the most powerful force in the universe, and that's love, loving your teammates, giving of yourself for the good of the team. And I think in this new age of the transfer portal, with players coming and going, teams and programs' ability to put those pieces together, galvanize a group, get them on the same page and going in the same direction is really important. And I have the utmost confidence in our staff and in what we do in making that happen.
Tell me about what you added. What are you excited about the players you brought up? I mean, everybody knows about, you know, Edwards from James Madison, Chucky Hepburn. We've seen him. Kind of take me through some of the things that excite you about some of these guys.
Well, I think if you had to pick one thing as kind of the hallmark of our team, and I think one of the advantages we have is the maturity level, right? We have vets, we got old heads, we got guys that have logged a ton of minutes at the collegiate level, and not only have played a lot at the collegiate level, but have won. They come from programs with winning DNAs. You know, and they're just guys that have high basketball IQs, that are, you know, been around the block, which is fun. You know, they say in college basketball you have to get old and stay old. And, you know, we definitely have a veteran group.
And no secret, there have been some struggles here the last couple of years. Are you already at the point, the little you've seen these guys, I mean, you recruited them, but do you know that you won't have to coach effort? Because I think that'll go a long way towards getting this fan base back behind these guys if they see effort on the court. Are we at that point?
I just think one of, if you look at what we call our cultural blueprint, there's three things. We say relentless effort, competitive excellence, and the power of the unit. And those aren't just slogans. That's not just something that sounds really cool. Those are something that flows through the veins of everybody in an organization every day. And, you know, in business and in life, and in basketball and in football and in coaching, you know, there's a million ways to skin a cat, right? And there's a lot of different ways to do things, and everybody has different philosophies and things like that. Throughout the course of 12 years as a head coach and 22 years at the collegiate level, we have a belief and a confidence in what we do and how we build. And you know, what do they say all the time? Journey of a million miles begins with a single step, right? Between now and when March comes, there's going to be a lot between now and then, right? But it's just being great in that first step, and everybody arriving here over the last couple days, getting in the weight room and getting on the floor with them, and the guys approach every single day, and striving for that excellence is what we're about.
From the outside, it looks like there's pressure because of what's going on here. Do you feel that pressure, or are you so confident in the preparation that the results will come? Because you've seen it, you've done it.
Yeah, I've been asked that question quite a bit. And the story that I always tell is Jay Wright at Villanova, right? And obviously he's one of the best coaches in the history of college basketball. And I heard a story or read a story one time about when he was coming off national championships and obviously expectations and things like that. And people were asking him, like, so what's the goal? What's the next step? What are your expectations? And he said something that was really profound, and I think about every single day. And he said, our goal simply is to improve our culture. And if you think about that, that's powerful, because coming off 2 stinking national championships.
Probably
and
pretty good.
Culture's probably pretty good. And to raise the level of that is a Herculean task. And that's all we focus on, right? How can we strive to have one of the best cultures in all of college basketball? And I just really believe when you do that, results tend to follow.